Because the reason I want to do that is because, remember, we record these, we put these on my YouTube channel in case you ever want to go grab them again, rewatch them, or share them with somebody who is not here within EXP. But it's also being live streamed in our workplace group, EXP Family Tree. By the way, we're at 8,000 agents in that group now. So thanks to you guys for helping it grow. What an amazing group this has become and continues to become. So please continue to join us in all of our trainings ahead, as well as our Monday revenue share huddles. Alyssa and Becky are leading them with me. I'm so grateful for those ladies to help with this. If you have somebody that you'd like to be a guest on the revenue share huddle, please work chat me and we'll get them here for you. We want to learn from each other. We have so many amazing people who are very successful in revenue share that are willing to pour into us. And, you know, for that, we're super grateful. Today, I'm super excited to introduce our guest, Robin Phillips. Robin is in the top 2% of agents. In her market, she sold nearly $75 million of real estate without a team, and while fighting breast cancer, by the way. She made her mark by selling unique homes and those that sit on the market too long, which hopefully we'll hear a little bit about. With her background in luxury real estate, Robin also specializes in waterfront and beachfront properties. She and her husband, David, have now 198 agents in their total organization. And I love this because Robin is a top producer. Robin is like all of you who are selling real estate, being a great co-op agent. And I see now she has probably her husband in the frame as well. So hi to you both. I didn't see you at first. So hello, David, as well. And so, you know, they're making their moves both in selling real estate and having that income now and being the agents that people want to surround themselves with, and then also utilizing that to grow their revenue share organization. You guys talk about that all the time with us, which is how do we do both? So hopefully we'll get some great tips from Robin and David on that, but they are driven to actually educate, support, and grow people around them. You guys, so that is obviously paying it forward. That's what makes them attractive. And they also recently created the coaching company, Agent Bacon, helping you bring home the bacon. I love it. I can't wait to hear how you came up with that name. So if you know these two at all, you know that they also love to have fun, and we're going to have a lot of fun with them today. Robin and I actually crossed paths in the past prior to EXP, so I always think it's super fun to bring it all for full circle. Robin and David, welcome. Super excited to have you both. Please unmute, and we're excited to learn from you today.
Hi, everyone. Sorry I was late there. Showing a $3 million listing. Hopefully I sold it.
All right. Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
That would be a good
thank you.
paycheck.
Yeah. Thank you guys for being here. Anything that I missed in your introduction, please share with us that you think would be important for us to know.
It's 205 agents now.
Woohoo! Yeah, that was probably last week, a few days ago, right? 205, so you've crossed the benchmark of 200. Congratulations. Yeah. That's an awesome feat. So talk to us a little bit about how you two have approached your revenue share organization alongside growing your real estate business, being top producers, being obviously still focused on selling real estate, which all of us need to be, right? There's no revenue share if there's no production in the first place. And I think one of the biggest things that people struggle with is how do we have a mindset where we can do both, and how do we allow those two things to play together so we can be successful? I'd love to start by maybe just understanding both of your mindsets around that when you first got started up until today.
So we started really kind of in the messy middle, which I think a lot of people really, that's where they start, right? So you try and time block couple hours a week, you're calling co-op agents, you're all over the freaking shop. You got Post-it notes everywhere. You forget to call people back. Every shiny penny that flies in front of you, you're like, oh, that's the best thing. That's going to work, you know? So we did that for a while because, you know, as Cari well knows, we joined EXP back in 2018. There were 12,000 agents. So there were no rev share, you know, masterminds and, you know, all these people leading the charge, telling us how to do it. So we were a shit show. Let me tell you, it was not pretty. But we knew that it was going to be our ticket to being out of production. We came to the US when we were 40 from the Bahamas with like completely starting over. We were selling jewelry to pay rent. We were, you know, it was we knew we had to make something happen. So we had that drive. And I would say to anyone, you still have to kind of find your why in all of this, just like you do in real estate, because you got to persevere. We are pioneering all of this. And I know there are network marketing books and all this other stuff, but no one's doing it for real estate at this level like EXP is. So you're going to have to work on it. So what we have found through all of the disaster is to run it like a business.
Just literally take your real estate business model and just change it from a client to an agent. Same concept as far as your P&L, same concept as far as nurturing your clients and your repeat business. Same thing when you have a client, you don't just walk away because that client potentially can bring you, referral business. Same thing with an agent. You have to treat it exactly the same way. And
so we've set up a database, and you've heard this before. I'm not the first one to say it, make a list. And when we made our list, I would say, you should have co-op agents that you worked with. You should have agents you're friends with, either from a previous brokerage or just through transactions that maybe you haven't done a deal with. And then you guys need to start thinking global. So that list should include anyone outside of your state or your area that you may know that's an agent. Maybe you met them at another event. It may be where you call your friends and family and say, hey, who do you know in your area that's an awesome agent that I can call? When you call that person, you can say, hey, Jennifer said you were the bee's knees and, just wanted to make that connection. So when you make that list, you've got to think outside your current market. If you're going to grow it big, it's got to be multiple legs in multiple states. It cannot be just your local market. You will grow too slowly to make a mark. And I would say that we have, as far as mindset goes, we're okay with having, 10, 15 agents a year join. Now, we'll tell you in a minute what we're doing to scale, but I would say don't ever think that you have to be the one that has, 5 agents joining a month and you have to find some system or strategy to make that work, If you can do what they do, the 2-10-40, where you call 2 agents. Yeah, you taught this before, so I won't repeat it. So if you can do the 2-10-40 or something like that, where you're calling 2 agents a day for 5 days a week, that's 10 agents a week that you're calling. That's 40 agents a month. Now, you've just like anything else, if you call 40 agents a month, next month you have 80 agents. The next month you have 120 agents. So what are you using to keep track of them? And we use a system called CRM Grow. This was built specifically for agent attraction. If you have not used it, they have preloaded EXP videos in there that you can text out to people. So it's made for EXP. Fantastic short 9-minute video in there that kind of explains everything. So that's what we use. We tag them, and I'll go over quickly how we categorize people. So everyone has 2 letters. They have A, B, C, depending on how well we know them and how well they know us. So an A is someone who knows me really well. A B is someone who doesn't know me as well. And a C is somebody who we've met before, but maybe they don't totally remember me, but we've actually met, okay? Then I've got A, B, C, depending on how hot or important I think they are, right? So if I have a team of 90 agents that I think might come over to EXP, they're going to be an A, right? Or maybe someone I know is hot, and it goes B is warm and C is cold. So we call our AAs the people who know us, that we believe might be open to a conversation. Then we call our ABs, then we call our ACs. So the people you are in a relationship with, those A's, are going to be the easiest people to convert because they know you. They know your name. They like you. They trust you to some degree. And then we just kind of work people down. We tag them. We make notes. We create follow-ups. We You know, this is just like what you would do in real estate.
Love it.
Anything to add for the CRM?
Just time block. I mean, I do an hour and a half a day, 4 days a week, and that's all I do. Is following up, inviting agents to our next mastermind or to the class we're teaching. And you're just nurturing the relationship. Everybody knows about EXP now, so it's not like it was when we first joined. So now I literally come from contribution, and you know, I always start my calls off and say, you answer this phone, I'm going to change your life forever. All you got to do is answer this phone and listen, and you know, and tell me, and I'll help you. And that's, if I go in with it with that mentality, the calls always are better.
If you guys, any of you were old Keller Williams agents, which we were, you know, we took bold. We used to say they're home, they're happy, and they want to speak to me.
Yep.
And it's the same mindset. You know, we can change your life if you're open to a conversation. So that mindset is a big piece of it, because you're not begging people to come to EXP. There's a brokerage for everybody. I think they're all coming, but you know, some people are going to be happy at Coldwell Banker for the rest of their lives, and that's okay. You know, we're looking for the people who are looking for us and are open, and that they think this is going to be a great fit for them. So we do that. We definitely do that.
I love that. There's a couple of questions. Well, first of all, here's the thing that I just want to point out, you know, coming from contribution, being great agents, getting out there, doing the business, proving that you know what you're doing, that you have some value to bring, but also earning that respect and having more co-op agents to reach out to because you do more transactions. All of that makes it easier. And I love inviting to events. I love inviting to masterminds, things that you're doing, coming from that place of contribution. I think that's very much easier for us to do as agents, because that's something we can time block once a month, or, you know, something of that nature. And we get value from it as well, right? When we schedule a mastermind or a training, don't we also learn from that and grow through that? It helps us in our own business. So again, how do we really integrate the two at a high level? And I think that you're hearing, you know, Robin and David do this very, very well. And I hope you're taking notes on that. Really a couple quick questions that I have here in the chat for you too. And then we'll kind of keep going. First and foremost, I believe this to be true, but to confirm that the CRM that you're using for agent attraction is solely for agent attraction. You use something else for your real estate business. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay. Also, Darren asks, when calling agents, you will eventually run out of those that you know as far as your list. Where do you find more agents to call, or where have you found more agents to call?
Well, if you're looking for, you know, spreading your wings and looking out, is go through every friend and family member that you have. Everyone lives in a house. I know Robin touched on this a bit earlier, but just call them and say, I know, who was your agent when you bought your house? And get that person's name. And as Robin says, you got a good way to touch on them. The other way I've been doing it too is that if you're going to do an event like a mastermind like we do, I go on the MLS and I can pull a category of production who I'm targeting to attract. And then what I do is I send that list to my VA. The VA then takes that list, goes on the MLS, pulls down all their phone numbers and email addresses, loads them into CRM Grow, all for $8 an hour. And then I just work that list and I call them and I invite them to the mastermind. And then, you know, I don't ever talk about EXP on those calls. It's purely just to get them to the mastermind. All I do with events is literally trying to get people to understand what it's like to be at EXP without being at EXP. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and that's the number one way I get people. That's awesome. Now we're going into a whole different realm.
Let her finish.
Sorry, you carry on the question. Next question.
No, those were the two main questions. I just wanted to make sure we covered that before we moved on. So what you're hearing again, you guys, is have a system. So how have you built your real estate business? What are you doing with the CRM? How are you following up? How are you finding more people? It's very similar. And you just have to compartmentalize these two things into two different systems and just time block for it. And you can literally time block for it an hour a day, or, 3 hours, 1 day a week. I mean, a lot of people have success doing this if they stay true to that time block, if they're focused and intentional with their time in that regards. So that's great. So, okay. So what else do you want to share? So from there, you've continued to sell real estate at a high level. You've continued to pour into people. You continue to find the people that you know and get them in a system. What other tips and what are the most important things that you think we should hear from you guys as far as how you guys got to 200 plus agents in your revenue share organization?
Well, I mean, one thing I want to touch on, if you want to do an event or you want to do a mastermind or you want to do a virtual class or whatever, every single one of us on this call has what we consider to ourselves a superpower. In other words, what we're really good at in this business. Mm-hmm. I know somebody has at least one thing, and then go deep on that one thing and set it up so you can teach a class on that one thing.
Yeah, and it can be via webinar.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we're going, because that way you can leverage that tremendously, and you're not out there running ads for EXP. You're running ads to invite agents to come listen to your webinar.
Yeah, and the goal is that we are all trying to find their pain.
Yeah,
right. Mm-hmm. So we've created this mastermind. We do it once a month. It requires zero effort on our part once it's set up. So we have some sponsors. They pay for the venue. They pay for hors d'oeuvres. We have a cash bar at the end so everybody can stay and mingle. The sponsors obviously want to mingle with people. So, but we don't have to have a panel. We don't have to create content. We just get up there and say, what do y'all want to mastermind on, and lead the charge. So the goal of that is to create relationships. Once you create relationships, then you can find pain. Once you find pain, then you can find the EXP solution to the pain. And really the transition from any event, webinar, live event is, oh, that's your problem. Why don't we just set up a call? I really think I could help you with that. Or I have a partner at EXP that I'd love to introduce you to. And that person can help. For example, I had somebody that came to the mastermind. She has so many leads, she cannot handle them. She had 4 people call her for listing appointments last week, and she had no time to go on the listing appointments. So I said, you obviously need a team, right? So, I'm going to connect you with XYZ. She's at EXP. She's built a $100 million team. I'd love to have the two of you connect. So we're problem solvers. We're not really, we're recruiters. It's not a bad word, but we're problem solvers. Yeah. So if we can help people get what they want inside of EXP, then they're going to love it. So really that's it. The webinar, anything else, it's book a strategy call so that you can then get them on that 3-way call, which is really that last step. So we have utilized that 3-way call to the nth degree. Yeah. No one is a hero in their own town. I don't care how amazing you think you are, getting somebody outside of myself or David to talk to people is the way to go, because then I don't even care if they're a $5 million agent. If they're an expert in listing presentations and that's what that person needs, they don't know they're a $5 million agent in, Wyoming. They have no idea. So get them on a Zoom call, make that connection, show them that we at EXP share everything, give them that glimpse, and that conversion rate goes up.
Yeah. And focusing in on that collaboration. And that's the purpose for doing these masterminds is for collaboration. And the really interesting thing is that I am now seeing that trending with other real estate brokerages, especially KW. KW now is holding masterminds. They're doing all the stuff that we've been doing, at least in our market. I'm like, there's nothing greater flattery than somebody copying you.
Mm-hmm. But it's interesting, guys, how this relates to real estate.
Exactly.
Because I went to our CTAR, our board, local board, right, has this yearly update. So we go to the yearly update, and there are all of these people that have been to our masterminds. Hey, how's it going? Missed you. Didn't get to go to the last one. I'll be there. Like all this stuff. And we're creating a name for ourselves in real estate, which is then out there on social media. The buyers and sellers on social media are like, wow, these guys are out there training agents. They're out there. So it elevates us in the real estate business, which is creating a brand for ourselves, which is increasing our real estate business without directly talking about how we want buyers and sellers. It's that indirect marketing piece. So we've found that these events have just changed everything for us.
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you guys, I love this conversation around events because anybody can do it. It doesn't matter how much real estate you're selling, not selling, it doesn't matter. The reality is somebody just needs to take the leadership of organizing it, planning it. You know, I actually put all of my masterminds, and I do a monthly mastermind as well. And we go to a conference room at maybe one of our local title companies that supports us, or mortgage companies, or even our builders association. They allow us, they have a beautiful space, and we just rotate it, but it's the same day, the same time every month. So people are starting to get used to it. I only have been doing this since October, and I don't have any relationships in October at that time, really, with any agents in my local market, those of you that know my story. And I have 25, 30 people signing up through Eventbrite, and I don't even have to promote it anymore because now it's becoming like, oh, I got to look for that. I'm going to watch for that. So Eventbrite has been a big deal. If you can get a list of your local agents from your MLS or from, you know, other sources, or you start to collect that from your CRM, if you import them into Eventbrite, Eventbrite does the marketing to them for you. So it also, oftentimes they'll open that up before maybe they'll open up an email from you. And so that's, you know, and then people start spreading the word and inviting each other. And so the same thing is happening. I go somewhere and people are like, oh, sorry, I missed your last mastermind. I'm going to try to make it to next week. Half the time I don't even know who they are. I'm like, okay, that's cool. They know who I am from it. But the thing is, I don't even know about their local market. I'm just facilitating it and bringing people together, and then they're learning from each other, and those relationships and that experience is what they're so appreciative of. And I think this is what you were saying, David, when you said, show them what the collaboration of EXP is without telling them about it. That's what it is. It's just this exuding that and getting them to be part of it. I think is really, really important. And then once we started to get people to get used to us, then we started to do different events. So like once a quarter, an event with a speaker, that's a bigger event. They're more likely to come to those things when they've had in-person positive experiences with you in a mastermind, for example, right? So I just think that that's phenomenal. But as simple as just, hey, come to my office and let's mastermind once a month because I know we can help each other. We've had people put transactions together, off-market properties. They're sending me a message saying, oh my gosh, thank you. I would not have put that deal together had you not invited me, because they're not doing this in their own environments, right, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we know from past masterminds is that people do feel like they're on an island. You know, we at EXP, we always talk about, oh, we're trying so hard to stay connected because we don't have brick and mortar. These people have brick and mortar and they feel like they're on an island and they want that camaraderie. I mean, half of them come, don't say a single thing, pound 3 drinks and hang out for an hour and a half. Like they don't, you know what I mean? They're dying to connect with other agents and broaden their minds in that way. And I will say, I'm sure you guys have talked about it in your group, especially with Cari involved, that agents right now are starving for direction. They're scared. They don't know what to do. Their business is down. It's a perfect time to grab those agents that are maybe, you know, enjoy 2021 because if you were breathing, you were closing transactions. And now when they might have to work for it, they're a little lost. So, yeah.
And there's certainly a level of fear and trepidation out there, and they're all starting to look at their numbers and say, how can I cut back? And so I definitely tend to pick up on those things with people when I'm on the phone with them as pain points.
Yeah, I mean, you know that if we all share with each other, we all learn and grow more. So if that's lacking in their business and they're uncertain about the future, we can easily connect the dots with, like, you want to be in these groups and surround yourself with these people because this is how you're going to grow your business. And now all of a sudden they're just coming to your stuff. Their brokerage isn't doing anything for them. You're not even going to have to ask them to have an appointment with you for EXP anymore. You're just going to have it. Or I have a great example of, I've been doing that with this couple for quite some time. And I just asked them if I had yet earned the right of an opportunity to talk to them about partnering with them at EXP. And her email back to me was, you have absolutely earned every right to have that conversation. Now that's because she's been coming to the mastermind since October. I have actually gone out of my way to help connect them with people, and I've gotten to know them as a human being. And so no one's going to say no to you if you've made deposits. Remember, you can ask for a withdrawal when you've made deposits. You can't ask for that, first. It typically doesn't work, right, guys?
Yep, that's spot on.
Yep. And I will tell you that, people know we're with EXP. Like, we don't talk about EXP, but we have big banners that say we're with EXP. The Eventbrite has to have our logo and EXP's logo on it and all that good stuff. So, you'll get people who literally are on the phone and they'll say, oh, so you're with EXP. What do you think? How do you like it? What do you not like about it? That type of thing. And I will say the easiest and best thing is to say, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, I love it. Best decision I ever made. That's my script, right? Best decision I ever made. I'd love to get you on a Zoom call with XYZ to have them talk more about EXP. You do not have to be an expert on EXP to recruit like a bazillion agents. You can sell 0 homes a year and recruit a bazillion people to EXP. You don't have to have a high level of production. All you have to do is understand the words, yes, best decision I've ever made. Let me connect you with XYZ so we can have a Zoom call and they can answer your questions. And most people will be like, okay, And if you want to build them up, if it's somebody a little higher up in EXP, I always act like it's hard, right? Which it never is. Okay.
Yeah, like I'll be able to get an appointment for you, but they're pretty busy.
Well,
yeah.
And I'll say, they're super hard to get. You know what I mean? So I'm going to try. And if I can, will you take that call? So
that's
you're
great.
getting them to then commit to that call prior to them even having that call. So, and then straight on to a group text. Now, if it's Gene Frederick or Brent Gove or, somebody like that, Dave Canord, then, they're not doing group text. But, if it's, somebody in your upline, just jump on that group text and say, hey, I'd like to introduce you to, David. He's freaking amazing. He wants to know more about EXP. When are you available? And that person on your upline should immediately respond.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love 2 things about this. This is something I've learned new today. So thank you for this, Robin and David, which is best decision I've made. When, can I get you on a phone call with somebody who can answer your questions? What I like about the second comment is, sometimes the image out there is, well, everybody's just recruiting at EXP. Nobody's selling real estate. If you're a top producing agent that's bringing value in your area, and then somebody comes to you and you want to set an appointment, I think it looks much more professional and shows that you're still focused on doing your business and being the best version of yourself in real estate. You have people around you that support you, which also shows our culture. You're not having to do all things for everyone, which they don't want to do. In their mind, they don't want to be a recruiter. They want to keep selling real estate. So if you start being a recruiter, they look at you and go, then I have to do that? I don't want to do that. But if you're saying it this way, they're like, oh, cool. Okay, yeah. So they don't even actually really recruit. They're just really loving what they're doing. They're paying it forward. And now they have somebody that does that for them. It makes it feel a bit different. And I think it overcomes that objection that we find a lot of times. Don't you guys?
Yeah, I totally agree there.
And if you want to know what that 3-way call looks like, there's a woman named Casey Council Jiha. And if you Google Casey Council Jiha, Tahoe Mastermind, she does an hour-long presentation on the 3-way call, what it should look like. And if you literally do not think and you do it just like that, and whoever you're doing the 3-way call on your upline should watch that like multiple times before they're the person you start connecting people with, then you guys will knock it out of the park. I mean, I probably do 2 or 3 Zoom calls a week for people on my downline, and we run it like that every single time. And a lot of them will sign up right after that one call. Sometimes it takes, multiple calls. The bigger the fish, the more Zoom calls they're going to have to do, but run it like a business. Right? Mm-hmm. When you have an appointment or you have somebody on the phone or you have whatever it is, if you don't get them on that call, what's the thing you do at the end of that call?
Mm-hmm.
You book the next appointment, right? You never leave an appointment without another appointment, or another plan, or another go-to, or whatever it is. And if they won't get another appointment booked at that time, then you're going to send them an item of value. You're going to have a date to follow up with them. You're going to, you know, Brent Gove will say it over and over and over: fast and fun, fast and fun, fast and fun. Once you get a fish, you got to haul ass to the finish line. You know, you don't get a listing appointment and then meet with them a month later, right? They've already signed with somebody else.
Yeah.
So same with agents. You get a hot one, you just Zoom call after Zoom call after item of value after next call, next call, next call, next call. Get them signed up.
Yeah, you're right. If you wait too long, you're going to lose them.
And especially in the season that we're in right now, agents are looking to move. And if they're looking to move, they're not just looking at EXP, they're looking at everything. So, you know, once you hook that fish, you've got to reel that fish in quickly before a shark comes and takes it like real. Had that happen to me. So, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, you have to be persistent. We were talking about this before. You know, persistence is a really good thing. I mean, people need persistence. They need more conversations to make an educated decision. You just need to do it respectfully. You need to do it with value. And, you know, thinking we're giving people too much time sometimes is not advantageous for us, but it's not for them either, because they need to stay on the path of learning and doing their due diligence to get to a place where they can make an educated decision. If there's too much time between that, I think it becomes difficult for them to make that decision. And then they're in limbo. When I was the team leader at Keller Williams, I used to have conversations with a lot of producers as they were making the transition to Keller Williams or deciding to. And one of the number one things that came out of the conversations is that that was the most unproductive time of their career, was when they were trying to make a decision to move brokerages, because it was all consuming and they weren't focusing on their business. And I would tell people, we got to expedite this, not because I'm trying to pressure you, but if this takes you 2 or 3 months, in 6 months from now, you're not going to have any business. And that's not going to be good for you no matter where you are. So we need to make sure we get you over the finish line of making a decision. Either way, even if you tell me you're not coming to Keller Williams at that time, that's what I would tell them. I just want to help you to make that decision as quickly as possible while feeling still that you were fully educated, right? Not making a hasty decision, but we got to put these things on our appointments on our calendars so that you can get this done. And you can actually make a decision, because indecision is going to cost you a lot. So that's a great script to use.
Yeah, and I don't think, I mean, a lot of people that we call, you know, people don't wake up in the morning and go, oh, I can't wait to move brokerages today, right? Because it's hard. It costs money. It's like, there's so many questions they have to answer, you know. So once you get someone who's open to that conversation, you've got to move it along, because they're going to become disinterested again. They're going to get wrapped up in their business. A million excuses are going to come up. They're going to get stressed out because now it's scary. And somebody was like, why are you thinking about that? Do you know how many logo changes you're going to have to do and how many new signs you're going to have to order? And now all of a sudden the objections are piling up. So people, we know buyers and sellers act on emotion. Agents are no different.
Yeah.
So if you give them too long to think about it, if you give them all these freaking, like, I mean, Jesus, just, if it sounds like a good idea, trust me, they are not going to go wrong with EXP. You are not helping them make a bad decision. You are giving them enough information to make a good decision.
So that's a good point, Robin and David. When people are in that decision-making process, they are moving down the path of doing this, and all of those different things kind of come into play, because you guys seem very organized and you're treating this like a business. Do you also have something where you help to kind of set the stage for people who are producers in terms of getting them the logo files in advance, in terms of reminding them of the things that they need to do to just get their ducks in a row? Do you have a system for that, just out of curiosity, to help them make that decision and make that move?
Yeah, we have an onboarding checklist that they go through, and I will tell you, they are literally horrible at going through the checklist. So we are constantly changing that checklist, and the checklist now is like, okay, you need to come over to EXP and sell real estate. Okay, so these are like the 4 things you need to do. Like, here are the logo files, go get new business cards and signs. Okay, download all your information out of the CRMs, before they shut you out and they take all your emails away from you, right? Learn how to use SkySlope, and we're going to introduce you to the broker and get you on KV Corp. Like, that's the rest of the stuff. Like, they don't need to know. Like, you know, we get them on a Zoom call with the broker so they can see the broker's face and they understand who they're talking to and all that good stuff. And we get them into the world so they don't call you every 5 minutes and ask you 1,000 questions, that you can go into the freaking EXP world and answer, you know, they're all there to help you. But you know, you just, because it's like drinking from a fire hose.
That's the thing you want to avoid. And that's what I found when I joined Keller Williams. It was just like somebody hooked me up to a fire hydrant and said, drink. And it was like, you know, you just couldn't do it. So it's feed them and give them a certain amount that they can handle, get through that, and then come back around with the next layer.
Yeah.
And we have a person in the Philippines now. We have an onboarding VA. And, you know, we've been working to get these people to do anything, and agents just suck at anything admin. They are horrible at follow-up. So, I mean, like, good luck. All I can say is, if you've got a big fish, EXP has some help that they can help you with, but you're just going to have to stay on top of them to some degree.
So yeah, so that's a good point. So by the way, just a couple of resources, because this is important for you guys. As a reminder, we have a lot of new faces joining us the first of the year here. Number one is there is an actual onboarding phone number, and you can go into the world and you can get onboarding and agent services help every single day of the week until 8 p.m. Pacific. That is including Saturday and Sunday. I do it. And so I know they're there. They're also actually there on holidays. I had a great conversation with one of the employees, and she said, don't feel bad for us that we have to work on holidays. We get the choice to work on holidays. And those of us that want to make extra money and they pay us holiday pay, we get to do it. So I took advantage of it on Christmas Eve because I had time, because I didn't go to my family's till later. So it was a really cool conversation. So literally they're in there every day of the week, including holidays, to help you. And so number one, you've got to, like Robin said, get people in there so that they know where to go. They could go there endlessly until they're all up and running if they need to. Okay. Also though, if you have a larger team or broker, we can get you you need to talk to maybe the broker or your upline. We can get you in touch with a team or brokerage integrations team and specialists at EXP, and they will guide them through the whole transition. And so those are based on region and so forth. And so ask your upline for that information when the time is ready. That is going to be helpful. If you do have, if you're the onboarding specialist, if you don't have an onboarding specialist, a VA yet, you know, if you have a team or a brokerage, oftentimes they do have an admin. If you can work to help the admin understand, then the admin can help all the agents. That's going to be your best bet. So that's what I've done with brokerages and teams, and it's worked very successfully. It has not taken me too much time, and they felt very taken care of because the admin felt confident, and then she or he could go help the rest. If you've got a top producing single agent, you might just have to jump in and help them. It's going to be well worth your time until you can hire somebody to do it. But get them integrated as much as possible in the world, because then they can go on their own time and get help too. And then the biggest thing is just get them involved in EXP Family Tree, because whenever they feel part of a group or a culture or a community, and they know they can go places and ask questions, and they can jump on this call and meet people, and then have actual people that they can see face to face, that they know, like, and trust, that they can ask questions to, it truly changes the game. And it also helps you to not feel like you're the only one that can help them, because you're not going to be able to be the only one. You got to get them included in the group, right, guys?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So that leads me to the last question for you guys, and then we'll open it up to see if anybody else has a question. How have you created a good culture in your own group of 205 and growing agents? Do you do anything individually as a revenue share group? I know you probably plug into your upline groups and so forth, but do you have a cadence of meetings or ways in which you communicate? And I assume you also use your CRM to communicate with your own revenue share group.
Well, we have a very strong upline group that we are on the leadership team of. So we do lean very heavily on that organization. It has its own Facebook group, all that good stuff. As far as what we do individually, so we have identified what we call our generals. Mm-hmm. And so we keep in touch with those generals, making sure that they know, what's going on, what are the key things that are happening. so that they can then speak to their people, because there's no way that we can keep in touch with 200 people and they're all over the US and the world. And, you know, we just can't do that. So I would say identify those generals. We are working a strategy this year for retention.
Big time.
Because it is a problem. You know, you work your tail off to get the people in and they don't plug in. They don't know where to go. And then, you know, and it's, let's be honest, it's not you or me or Cari, right? They're plugging into some person that's somewhere on our downline who just tripped over an agent. And now, you know, we want to help that agent, but we barely know about them. Yeah. So we have now our VA in the Philippines every month is giving us a list of all the new agents so we can call them, personally welcome them, and just make sure they get plugged in. Yeah. Because that's key. People are sitting at home, you know, and we all want to be there to support them. But if their sponsor is not plugged in, then they're not going to be plugged in. So I think, you know, we're all continuing to learn, but that process of identifying the generals, staying in touch with the new people that are coming in, and just making sure they get plugged in. Cari cannot stress that enough. Wherever you want to get them plugged in, just get them plugged in somewhere, and then continue to reach out, either via text. We have an app called Hit 'em Up. And if you guys haven't used Hit 'em Up, it's a paid text app, but it's an individual text. So you can text a group, but it will come through as an individual text to that person. And when they respond directly to me. No one else sees that text. So it's been a great way to send out mass text to hundreds of people and have it feel really personal.
Awesome. There's also one called Reach that does the same thing that I use. So that's fantastic. I had not heard of Hit 'em Up. So that's fantastic. You know, I use my CRM to keep in touch. So I send birthday messages, I check in, I invite them to all of our trainings every week. I send a monthly newsletter, and that really helps to kind of just remind people what's going on, and also ask them to invite guests, help them to leverage everything that we have to offer for their own, you know, agent attraction and their own growth of their business as well. So however you can get your people together to communicate with them is key. I love the Find Your Generals, because there's always going to be leaders that arise, and the people that are growing the most, if you pour into them and teach them, then they can go and trickle down to the rest. No one person is going to have influence over hundreds of people or thousands of people. But if you have all of your people that you can then pour into them, they pour into their people, and then they pour into their people and teach them to find their own generals. That's how you can really make a long lasting, I think, effect. And we've got to focus on production. People are leaving the company because they're not either getting engaged or they're not selling real estate. It's the same wherever they are. If they're at Keller Williams, Remax, an independent brokerage, or EXP, when people are making money, they're happy and they stay. When they're not, they don't. And so I would just encourage you guys to create accountability groups, help each other sell more real estate, do more of these masterminds, do more training, invite them to our trainings we have every single week. Tuesdays, Wednesdays, every week, we bring in guests and we talk only about productivity. Share your best practices. In this model, the more you provide to other people, the better it is for everyone. No secrets in real estate. Let's give everybody everything that we're doing so we can all succeed. And I think those are going to be the keys to retention. So we have 10 minutes left. Please unmute yourself. Ask some questions of Robin and David. They have been such a great example of top producing agents focusing on being great realtors, continuing to produce and be in the top 2% in sales, and still at the same time moving forward to impact 200 people's lives by bringing them to this awesome opportunity of EXP, and it is helping them build wealth that they would not be building anywhere else. It's truly a gift and a blessing, and they're an example that you can do it too. You don't have to do one or the other. And that's what I'm the most grateful for, because when we see people go before us, we know it's possible for us. So no more excuses when we can see it can be done. So who has a question for them while we have time? Anthony.
Oh, hi. Thanks for all the information. Appreciate the help. So I'm kind of, in my situation, I'm partnered with my wife. She's been in this business since 2009. I've been in the business since like 4 or 5 years ago. And all our transactions really go through her. Like I'm like when I'll do the door knocking and the warm and fuzzy stuff, and then really she kind of takes over the business the minute we get them. And as such, I don't have the gravitas that my wife has when I'm out there communicating with other agents, and a lot of them don't really know me. So I've kind of been doing just cold calls. Like I'll pull up a list from an MLS, from an office, and just call the whole office.
I like your style.
Nice to say it's not been the greatest results. Okay. So I was just wondering, like, what would you do in my shoes?
Well, it's interesting you say that because I'm to a certain degree in the similar shoes to you are. She is the one who has all the gravity. I came on later. I flipped houses and then I transferred more into sales. I do the buy side. She does the sell side for the most part. That works really well. But as far as when you're making these cold calls, because that's what I did for a long time, what are you saying to them?
So I've got a couple scripts, but I just tell them I'm from EXP and just wonder, if I have any information on them at all, which I oftentimes don't. If I do, I say, I see you've been doing really well in business. I'm impressed. And I was just wondering if you'd ever looked into what EXP has to offer. That's really just the intro for me, and then take it from there.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things I did early on is that we're actually set up as officially a team within EXP. So because we're not allowed to cold call people early on, what I would do is I would call them and say, I'm with the Robin group, and Robin asked me to give you a call because you are killing it, and I'd love to get you on a call and see whether you would be a good fit for our team. And all I was doing was setting up a call with Robin.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't talking anything about EXP, and then she would get on the call with them and kind of go through them, find their pain points, and then we then take them from there to a three-way call with somebody else. That worked quite well because I would basically sell them on the team, but then tell them, oh, but if you don't join our team, you can join us through EXP in our organization, and you can have everything that we give our team for free,
without a commission split.
Without a commission split.
That's actually how I usually start the conversation. That I'll get into that quickly. First of all, Katrina, my wife doesn't. She's got enough to do because we also do wholesaling and flipping and things. So, and she just got her license in Texas, so she's not even in New Jersey with me now. She's down in Texas, and we're trying to expand. But anyway, that's another story. Point is, it's on me. The onus is on me to have the conversation. One of the things I quickly get into is that they can have the benefits of a team without having to join a team. They can work independently. I try to feel it out with each agent, because some agents they clearly aren't looking for a team, especially if they're successful. They're not looking for a team. They're just, oftentimes they're happy where they are. Those are the ones, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're the bigger fish, the ones we want to bring over anyway. Right? Am I wrong? Yeah,
I mean, I would say a couple of things. One, if you want to have a direct conversation about EXP, that's fine. We're going let's build a relationship. But if you want to have a direct conversation, have a direct conversation. But I would have a little bit more information on these people and be a little bit more strategic about who you're calling. So you're saying, look, I'm going to tell you, I see you've done 25 million this year. You're absolutely crushing it. What's working for you? Get them in a little bit of a conversation, do a little bit of that Ford family occupation, recreation dreams,
Mm-hmm.
Do a little bit of that, and then hit them hard and just say, hey, I totally respect what you're doing, and I see on Facebook, because, I stalked you. People think that's funny because I really respect you. So I decided to stalk you before I made this call. They're like, and then you just say, I see you have a massive family, blah, 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 and then you say to them, hey, look, I icon at EXP. So with your production, you could, instead of paying your broker each year, you could make 123% of your commission through stock in EXP, and just do exactly what you're doing now. You could just, get the stock, Would you be interested in having a conversation about how you can make 123% of your commission each year? And just be direct. That's okay. But I would not just randomly cold call people and just be like, hey, what do you know about EXP? because the conversion rates are super low.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to find that person who's going to be like, okay, I want to have this conversation. And
it's tough to keep the momentum when you're just dealing with no's and F-offs and
and then when I get
one.
someone, they seem to fall off pretty quickly. So
well, and then you're into objection handlers and all this other scripting stuff, which is just, you know, it's fine, but you end up with like 150 people to follow up with each week, which is a giant waste of your time.
that's what I've been doing.
Go a little deeper with the person. And in my opinion, hitting that icon conversion is everything. It's an easy conversation. You're not talking about recruiting. You're talking about run your business exactly like you're doing it now with the same damn logo and make 123% of your commission. And that's a number I came up with. That is my own number because of the increase in the stock price and everything else. That's about what I make per year. It's 123%.
And I mean, that's the reason why we joined. I mean, that's the reason why we don't have such a huge organization. When we first joined, I joined because of the stock. I've only ever worked for 3 people in my life. And one of those was myself, you know, so I just wanted to I was sold with Keller Williams that I could go run my business there, and it didn't work that way. EXP was the model that I could see where that could actually work because I'm a shareholder in the company. And that's the way to go after these high producing agents. Don't go for the agent attraction part to begin with. Only bring that up if they ask about it, but focus in on the stock and and the other thing to focus in on too is like, you know, are you the number 1 agent in your office? And if they say, oh yeah, I'm number 1, number 2, or whatever, you say, who else do you get to collaborate with on a weekly or monthly basis? You know, they all want to collaborate with us. That's what happened with us at Keller Williams. The reason why our business went up 50% when we moved to EXP is nobody was knocking on my damn door. Everybody was knocking on our doors. So yeah. Anybody else got any questions? My wife's telling me to shut up.
No, this is good stuff. This is great, Anthony. Thanks for the question and really good comment. Iva, do you have a quick question before we end?
I have a quick question. There are some brokerages here that have a good number of agents, but they're boutique brokerages. And do you start with a high producing agent that you know personally, or do you go to the broker if you know them, you know, as to not offend and hopefully get, you know, a bulk of agents? And I know that a high producing agent also could bring on the broker. So I'm just kind of balancing out that because I've got a couple that actually, you know, 2 or 3 that I really feel like once they hear this opportunity, and they're people like I call and sit down and have a cup of coffee with or walk into their brokerage. It's not, you know, it's not a cold call or even just a little warm call. It would be somebody I knew pretty good. So what would your recommendation be?
I would go after the agent that you have the relationship with. First of all, they're going to have a better relationship with their broker than you are. And at the end of the day, that's going to be one part of your pitch to them is that they're going to have this opportunity to bring on their broker. And just imagine how quickly your organization will grow.
Right. That's what I was thinking with this one particular agent. I do have a really good relationship with my old broker. So I've mentioned this to him, and I really do think I know what his pain point is. And we're working on that one. So I just, you know, that helps because I do have this one agent that I'm going to reach out to and just sit down with her because there's a lot of different things that are going on with her, but that does help.
Don't sit down. Do not sit down with them. Do not sit down with them. Do not try and do this on your own, especially if you have a relationship with these people. They're not going to respect you. They're going to respect somebody you put them with. Get them with, if they're a big agent, get them with Gene or get them with somebody. I mean, in your upline, get them on that 3-way call. You can have a cocktail party and drinks afterwards and celebrate them joining.
Then do that. Yeah.
Then do that.
Use your relationship to set the 3-way
questions, and you don't want to have to answer all those questions. You need to connect them. Connect.
You're right, because what happens is if you don't know the answers, you're using the relationship, but then you're creating almost more like uncertainty or like now they really don't know because you don't know. And so it's like you're wasting the time with them that you could have had to really make a big impact. So use your relationship to set the three-way call. And the relationship is what's going to get them to say yes to you because they trust you, like you know you, and then you let the heavy lifting be on someone else. I have a bunch of newly done videos for broker owners, so I'll send those to you if you want to look them over. But if you have a broker owner that you want to send that to that you don't have a great relationship with, I actually get quite a bit of response and usually set appointments with it. And then of course, you know how to set up a three-way call with us. That's what I would do with your friend. Just use your relationship to get them to a call. That's the biggest aha that I think you can hear from Robin and David is like, we think because we have the relationship, we have to do all the appointments. That's not the case.
Mm-hmm. And the script for that is, hey, and call the person on your upline first. And then call your friend and say, hey, oh my God, I was talking to so-and-so and they do this like amazing business out of Charlotte. I mean, they are crushing it. And it's just like your name popped up and we started talking about you. And she was so impressed with what you're doing. And I would just love to get you guys on a call because you know I want to be in business with you. Like I'm pretty upfront about it. I'm like, you know I want you at EXP. You know I want to be in business with you because I want to surround myself with the best of the best. And you are the best of the best. And I want you in my club. So, you know, this person was like, hey, I would love to talk. I mean, do you have time? Would you meet with this person? Like that type of thing. And that sets up the call. It sets the tone for the call. You don't have to tell them it's about EXP. They know it and they're ready for the sales pitch. Okay. And if you can send them a video in advance so they know what EXP is all about before they get on the call, I would definitely do that. We had not talked about that. If you guys can do that, that is huge. And I will tell you, if you're trying to get Gene or Brent or one of these other guys on the phone and they have not watched a video about EXP and they start asking Gene Frederick what the commission splits are at EXP, they will never take another call from you again. So just be respectful.
Not like that bad, but yeah, they'll certainly
be respectful. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just gotta be careful. If they don't know anything about EXP, call me. I'll get on the Zoom call with you, you know what I mean? But you know, just that's the way I would approach that one, Ida.
Perfect.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Okay, our time is up. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It was great to see you again, Robin. Nice to meet you, David. Thanks for your time. Really appreciate you guys. We will have this recording on my YouTube within 24 hours. It's live streamed in EXP Family Tree, so you can rewatch it or tag people there. Really appreciate you guys joining us. We'll see you next Monday, but don't forget this Tuesday and Wednesday, we've got our productivity calls. We've got great speakers, so join us or invite a friend. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.